Today, on Guess What I Found Out, we're going to discover some facts about nature's most overdressed, deep-diving, ice-loving birds, the emperor penguins. That's right, Curious George. We're talking about the tuxedo-wearing champions of the Antarctic, who took one look at flight and said, nah, I'd rather be a high-speed torpedo instead. Before we dive into the icy abyss of penguin knowledge, do me a favor, hit that like button. Not for me, but for the penguins. They can't click it themselves because, well, flippers. Let's talk about where these fancy birds hang out. The poles? No, not the ones at your local fire station, the frozen wastelands left behind by the Ice Age. Unlike every other sane creature that saw ice and decided to relocate, emperor penguins doubled down. They don't just survive despite the ice, they depend on it. It's like willingly living in a walk-in freezer and calling it home. These birds are the largest of their kind, reaching 4.3 feet tall and weighing up to 100 pounds. Basically, they're the linebackers of the penguin world, minus the ability to tackle, unless sliding on their bellies counts. Now let's talk about their superpowers. First, they are the only bird species built to withstand the Antarctic cold. Every other bird said nope and left, but these guys, they leaned in. They're also the deepest diving birds on the planet, plunging over 500 meters and holding their breath for 30 minutes. That's right, half an hour. Meanwhile, you can barely make it to the bottom of a swimming pool without gasping for air like a beached fish. And their feathers? Oh, they're not just for show. These little heat-trapping miracles create an air cushion, basically turning the penguin into a high-tech submarine. The feathers even absorb warmth because clearly Mother Nature was feeling extra generous when designing them. Back in the day, scientists thought penguins were primitive birds, like some kind of feathered caveman. They were so convinced that penguins held the secrets to evolution that a 1910 expedition traveled to Antarctica just to collect their eggs. Fun fact, that expedition was based on a theory that embryos replay the evolutionary process, which was later proven to be, shocker, totally wrong. Imagine risking your life in the freezing cold only to be spectacularly incorrect. Good times. Penguins used to fly, you know. Well, their ancestors did. But at some point, evolution threw them a curveball and said, you can have wings, or you can be an underwater missile, pick one. So penguins swapped the skies for the seas, adapting their bodies for Olympic-level swimming instead. Their sleek, torpedo-like shape makes them way better at diving than flying anyway, so no regrets. Speaking of things you won't regret, subscribing to this channel. Unlike penguins, you don't have to survive minus 50-degree temperatures to do it. Just a simple click and boom. More cool facts, less frostbite. Now, let's talk about their built-in turbo boost. Penguins trap air in their feathers and release it like an underwater jetpack, reducing drag and giving them a serious speed boost. It's the same principle used in high-tech ships and torpedoes. Basically, they're nature's version of a James Bond gadget, except instead of fighting villains, they're avoiding being lunch. You think holding your breath for 30 seconds is impressive? These birds slow their heart rate down to 3 beats per minute just to conserve oxygen. Their blood vessels constrict, sending oxygen only to the most essential organs, like a built-in emergency survival mode. They also have ridiculous levels of myoglobin and hemoglobin, making them basically oxygen hoarders. Imagine if humans had that. You could hold your breath in traffic and pretend to be an elite diver for no reason. Let's not forget, these guys are out there in minus 50 degrees Celsius weather, just vibing. The ocean they swim in, minus 1.8 degrees Celsius. That's colder than your ex's heart. But emperor penguins are unfazed thanks to their dense feather insulation, 4 times the normal amount. They even huddle together like a feathery mosh pit, shifting positions so everyone gets a turn at the warm spots. A true test of patience and teamwork. And if you thought your life was tough, try being a male emperor penguin. These guys incubate their eggs for 4 months in the dead of winter. No eating, just standing there, balancing an egg on their feet like a devoted single dad. When the chicks hatch in July, both parents raise them until December, ensuring they grow up with all the knowledge necessary to become the next generation of ice-dwelling, deep-diving pros. But here's the not-so-funny part. climate change is messing with their entire system. These birds depend on sea ice, and as temperatures rise, their home is disappearing. So, while they've adapted to literally everything nature could throw at them, they might not be able to outswim human-caused global warming. If you want to help, start by sharing this video. The more people who know about these tuxedoed badasses, the better. And if you don't, well, just know you made a penguin sad today. That's it for today, Curious George. If you learned something, or just enjoyed my sarcasm, smash that like button. If you didn't, smash it anyway, because why not? And don't forget to follow for more weird, wonderful, and occasionally ridiculous facts. See you next time on Guess What I Found Out. Stay curious and maybe invest in a parka if you plan on pulling a penguin and moving somewhere cold.